Hello, my name is Laura, and I've seen in several Tumbler groups, and I once even asked, how do you keep your Hydrosport bottles level on your turner? How do you attach them to your turner arms? And so I think it was in even one of these groups that somebody showed this little contraption. And so we figured out how to put this together, and we wanted to share it with you. So basically this is a plumbing fitting, and essentially it just will turn and fit into your opening of your bottle. And then I have a 3/4 inch screw in tumbler turner, and so that is the fitting that we use down here. I'm sure you could modify this for 1/2 inch or whatever fancy quick release or whatever tumbler connector you need. But the ones that we make that have worked for us because of my turner is this screw in attachment. So anyway, that's what this video is going to cover, is how to put this together. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know, and have fun. Alrighty, so what you will need is a 2-inch plumbing test plug. You can find these in the plumbing section at Home Depot. That is where they have, at least I know they have this brand. That's where I got these. You will need a 5/16-18 bolt, and this one is 2.5 inches in length. You will need two 5/16-18 nuts, so 2 of those, and then you will need your PVC fittings. Like I said before, I have the screw in turner. So my fitting is the male end for the side that screws into the turner. You'll need a PVC cap, and then you'll need about a tiny 2-inch, maybe a little less than 2 inches piece of PVC pipe. And then for the tools, you will need, or it is probably easiest if you have, a drill press, but if you don't have a drill press, a hand drill with a 5/16 inch drill bit. A center punch will help you kind of get your hole started when we are going to screw a hole into the cap. A 1/2 inch wrench, which will help hold one of the nuts when we are screwing that on, and then this 1/2 inch deep socket wrench. I would not have normally had one of these tools. So if you do not have one of these, you can likely use needle nose pliers, but this is going to be when we screw and attach the fitting onto the attachment. We have to kind of get into the cap to screw the nut in to secure it, and so this helps to be able to kind of get down in there. So that's what we're going to use that deep socket for. And then a pair of Big Mama Jam pliers to hold your cap when you are screwing your hole, drilling your hole. Sorry. Okay. So let's start actually with we're going to take this apart. So you just unscrew this wing nut. And then you'll need to remember kind of the order of how this is all pieced together, but it's not going to be apart for long. So you've got your nut, you've got a clear plastic washer, your red piece, this black piece, and then your final red piece. And then there's a little, another rubber washer. So you'll take your washer and you'll replace, this is where we're just going to replace the bolt with the longer one. So you'll just put it back together exactly the same way. Is this the way that this went? No. Yes. Like I said, remember the order and the direction of your pieces. Your black part, and then your red part, and then your washer, and then you'll screw your wing nut down. Now this part is, it's helpful to have a bottle with you. So this, when you turn this wing nut, this black part expands. And so, you know, if it's right now, it's like really loose inside the lid of the bottle. So if you just kind of turn it to the point where it's a pretty easy slip on. That's pretty good. Then you'll know kind of how much length you have on the other end to attach all of your other pieces. Remember, this is kind of what we're going for. So we've gotten half of the way there, and now we just need to attach our PVC fittings. So for this part, you're going to want to drill a hole in the center of your cap. I did this one other time and missed the center, so I have someone, my partner, Alan, makes these for me, so he's usually really good about getting them in the center. I am not as good. I don't know if that will affect your turn or not, but there's a couple tricks hopefully that will help you find the center. One, inside this cap, there is already a little circle center from when they made the cap, so you can find that hole or little divot and then use your awl to kind of give it some pressure to kind of get your hole pretty well defined. It may also be helpful here too, and I don't have a hammer, but maybe the Big Mama Jamma pliers will work. You kind of give it a tap to get going on your hole. That's pretty good. That's better. So that you can know where to put your drill bit. Most drill bits have a little tiny point in the end. So if you can kind of find that center point, this one's a little janky, so I'm going to blame the tool instead of me. Get yours lined up. This is also where I like to use these pliers. I need to clean my space a little bit. I'm going to use these pliers to hold the cap because I'm not strong enough to hold it on my own. And then you just real slowly and straight well, that's not working. Drill down your hole. Oh, fan of power tools. I am not. It looks like I did a little bit better on this one though. So now you have your hole in your cap. And put a board, or if you're working on a table that you care about. Usually we make these in the garage, but this was an easier setup to record. So, okay, now that you've got your hole, the next part, where did I put my nuts? Here they are. You're going to screw your nut down, and you're not going to go all of the way because you want it to kind of clear where this wing nut is. But I usually take it just above where the wing nut spin is. And then if you need a little more room, the wing nut should clear this nut. But I usually kind of take it down just right to the top. Then you'll put your cap over the top of that. And then you're going to want to screw your other nut on the other side. And this is where it gets tricky for me because this is such a small space. So you kind of just I just set it down in there and give it a little spin to get it started. And then this is where you're going to hopefully have enough room to kind of get in here. Let me screw the other way. Screw this up just a little bit. So you can get your wrench in here to kind of just hold. And then you'll take your socket wrench on the other side. And you got to kind of get it started here. just make sure it's tight. I'm kind of working against each other this way. So this one's kind of pulling to me and this one is turning away, still turning the same direction. And then you have, this is on there pretty good now. So you'll just need to figure out, so I think needle nose pliers might work, but if you can get your hands on one of these socket wrenches, it really is a lifesaver. And then from here, all you have to do is insert your pipe. And this is going to be a pretty tight fit. We also glue these just for that little extra added protection. But this is a pretty tight fit in here, you'll see. And then you put your fitting on the other side. So, and you can, push this clearly a little bit more. The 2 inches essentially will cover this width and this width, so that you can get it pretty flush. You can see this one's pretty flush. This one I am just not strong enough to make it go closer together, but it's on there pretty good. So anyway, this is how this works. And then when you have your bottle, you'll go in and you'll put it on the top, and then you screw this wing nut to the right, which makes that black piece expand. And you want to make sure that your this red part is flush with the top of your bottle. But you turn this pretty good, and then it's on there for good. So then when you screw this into your tumbler arm, it remains pretty level. I haven't had any trouble with mine. And then you can go from there. So that's how you make bottle holder Hydrosport from plumbing fixtures and maybe a little muscle.